Well, I finally was able to finish Hogwarts Legacy, although there is still lots to do in the game. It's just, I want to go over the final sort of stages of the boss fight for Ranrock. It's a pretty interesting fight in itself because there are things that you have to do in a series of events in order to defeat him. Now, I went into this I was blind going into this, so it did take me a few attempts, quite a few attempts, to actually get through the entire boss fight. And at times I was very confused at what was happening with the boss fight, where it had to go. So I'm hoping that this video helps you guys, helps everyone out there be able to defeat this boss in a lot easier time than I had to go through to do this. Now, there are 3 stages to this boss fight. The first couple stages, you're on a path, and I gotta say, the second stage, there's at one point where it looks like you're gonna fall off a cliff, but you have to actually walk down the hill. So I wasn't a fan of that because it confused me more than anything. It took my chat actually saying you can progress here to actually figure out that I could go forward because I was very lost in that sense. Now, the one thing that happens during this fight is you get these big orbs in the battle. And if you've gone through the game and you've played through the other Keeper's Trials, this similar orb is something that does happen in the first couple trials, or the boss of those trials. And because of that, it makes it a lot easier later on for this boss fight because then you understand, okay, I have to hit them with certain magics. It's something that they've been training you in the entire game. So kudos to that because it's effective for this. Now, the Ranrock fight in itself has a situation where you have to hit these orbs, and you got to hit these orbs because right now at the beginning of the fight he's in Imperial. You cannot hit him as a normal wizard. He's immune to magic, he's immune to damage. But you hit these orbs and it causes a cascade effect of the goblin metal to then attach itself to Ranrock, and because it attaches at that point, now he can actually be injured by magical spells, and then he goes through a series here at the same time. A lot of the series here, it does get telegraphed very easily. This is one of those fights, if you knew what you were doing right off the bat, everything is telegraphed in it, and you can then all of his intentions are known. There, it goes through a charge much the same way as trolls charge in the game, and right after the charge he does a tail swipe. So it's, you need to get away from him, you need to dodge the charge and get completely away from him. At these points you want to pretty much spam your dodge roll and get as far away from him as possible. After he does that initial charge and cannot hit you at close range, he will shoot a fireball at you, or a orb at you, that you can then use your trigger system and throw it right back at him, much the same way as you do with the barrel tosses that you have throughout the game. After that, he shoots a yellow orb at you, which you can actually use the Protego spell and block, and then it would stupefy him. But in my instances, I'm always just dodging out of the way of that. After that attack, he does a fire breath. Now, the fire breath, in particular, this one, it hits, and when it hits the ground, it actually tosses up part of the ground. And that confused me many times because in a lot of ways, when I've dodged it, I'm off screen to this rock that's flying up in the air, and this rock flies up in the air and it hits me every time. And this was my bane of this fight because it was killing me every time. Now, in order to avoid that, you can once again toss it like a barrel or a crate. You hit the trigger and it'll toss it at Ranrock, actually doing quite a bit of damage. After this, it's a series of either his Ultima weapon, where he sits there and he closes his wings up and goes straight up in the sky. When he does this, you want to just get some distance on him. Once you have enough distance, you can hit him and spam spells at him. This is a great point to sit there and spam spells at Ranrock. When you do that, it will hit him and you do quite a bit of damage with this point. After that, usually after that, he does the charge attack again, and the cycle starts over. So it's always this cycle that is non-stop going on. And that is the fight. It repeats itself many times. It's just a series of trying to dodge and rolling away and hitting them at opportune times. Now, one tip that I can give is if you have your ancient magic meter up and you use that, wait until he's charging at you and use it when he's charging, because it will stop the charge and will pause him in his place, and it's a lot easier to get away from him at that point. Other than that, the fight pretty much is straightforward. For me, it took me quite a few tries to get through it, mostly because I didn't know the fight. Once I learned the fight, it reminds me of my days back playing WoW, where everything telegraphs itself and you can just sit there and then anticipate everything it does. If I was to go back and redo the fight, it probably would take me one, maybe two tries at this point. The last time that I did it there, I pretty much was able to just run right through it, getting hit minimal times. And I gotta say, try to save a few potions for the fight at the end, because it does help if you have at least one potion at the end. I went into it with none, zero, nothing left. But that's part of not knowing what I was going into. Hopefully, everyone else here that watches this video gets an idea on what they need to do and are able to get through it. Once you're done that, you're rewarded with the end of the game. After the game is done, you can go back and do a lot of the side quests and continue playing with your character. Ultimately, the game, Hogwarts Legacy, from start to finish, I still say it's a 7.5 out of 10. There's a lot of things that I have issues with. The inventory system, I think, is not very good. Always being full on your inventory, having to pause, sell. I think that is still one of the worst parts of the game. But ultimately, there is so much content here with this game. It's going to keep you entertained for hours on end, and it will keep you going. Until next time, I've been your proud Canadian Phoenix Cineshadow. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you very soon next time. Bye.